Holy shit.
Not news.
Here is an illustrated summary of the news happenings at home and abroad.
Gentlemen, this is the Brock Lawley program. My name is Brock Lawley, and this is the show that we tackle the news headlines almost every single day. Occasionally I fumble the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into them. The lead actor, the lead puppet, we should say, in the New York Times Trump woman piece comes out immediately after the publication of this rag and says she was misled, she was misquoted, she was specifically on record as getting them to say, will you slander somebody with this? Will you take this out of context? Will you mislead your readers? And of course, you can almost literally hear New York Times, oh, no, this is hard-hitting journalism after all, we are the Times. Immediately the woman says, I was misquoted, I was lied about. What they said about Donald Trump is not true. Can you even imagine? I mean, this is where reporting has landed. The minute they press print on this thing, the entire thing factually comes apart. And they don't care. Look, they don't care. The whole point is to throw this story out there, get it moving in a media cycle. That's the whole point. I mean, if you don't realize that by now, I don't even know what to tell you. But I just want to point out just how incredibly dishonest and deceptive you have to be. And of course, that's just where we are. I've known the media's underbelly for a long, long time. I just want you to know. Newsbusters has a really great layout of this, if you're interested, where they talk to the woman, they explain how the New York Times and the left at large, by the way, this is what they do, how they do it. Walks through the process. It's interesting. Newsbusters.com has that. Hillary steals one of Obama's lines. Actually, most of this stuff, it's really, really fascinating. I think she thinks to herself, I'm so despised, I got to piggyback on Obama, who's also increasingly despised in this nation. I think this actual bathroom debacle is going to just totally blow up in Obama's face, that this is, on the home stretch of his administration, this is what he's doing. Now, we all know it's a distraction, it's to divide the people, this is his MO, but gosh, it just stinks like sulfur. It just stinks like sulfur, and specifically as it's placed amidst the landscape of serious times and serious things. It really does. But she says she doesn't care where an idea comes from. She's regarding, like, for example, I don't care if an idea comes from Mein Kampf. I don't care if an idea comes from Mao's scribblings. I don't care if an idea comes from the Marxist Manifesto. I only care about the idea. Well, I care about the idea too, Hillary Clinton, but I also care about body bags and millions of them being filled with ideas. Ideas have consequences. It's a lesson I wish the leftist loonies would learn once in a while, but they don't. Free Beacon has an interesting piece. Obama, of course, and we've alluded to this many times, starts another culture war. The question really is do we need another federal case on bathrooms, or is this all just red meat to the hoi polloi? Is this all just throwing a bunch of steaks into a ravenous, starving pack of wild wolves? This is Lewinsky through and through. Divide, destroy, pin one American against the other. It's sad to see. I'm done talking about it. O'Hare Airport, I've flown in and out of Chicago many, many times. An enormous airport. Security lines have people sleeping on cots. Of this, I hope you've heard by now. Again, I tell you, if you want something to fail, if you want it to work horribly, if you want it to be ineffective, get government involved. The NSA's solution, we want to spend more money. If Obama comes out, we want to hire more money. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's insane. Nobody at any point says, maybe this isn't a good idea. By the way, it's not keeping you safe. Now you just have thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent Americans compiled, sleeping in cots, not able to board a plane in what is spoken of as the United States, the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of the cattle herded, the home of the living in fear. This doesn't keep us safe. It's another bloated bureaucracy. And Republicans are not off the hook for this. After all, George W. Bush is really the one that started the NSA, which is a debacle. Ladies and gentlemen, to clean the palate, did you know a new study, this is in Philadelphia.cbslocal.com, a new study says that going to church equals a longer, happier, more peaceful, and stable life. A new study. I could have told you this without a study, but there it is. Some of you need the academics. Some of you need the ivory towers. Some of you need the scribblers and pontificators to tell you what's what. So there you go. Stevens, who I've grown increasingly dissatisfied with, it's constant. I don't like Trump. I don't want Trump. I'm going to vote for Hillary. Blah blah blah. But he does a piece finally that turns his gaze away from Hillary, rather away from Donald Trump and on to Bernie Sanders, and he tries to describe for the millennial clueless among us what socialism is. I think he does a nice job. It is amazing that I live in a country that doesn't know that, as they live with the consequences of it right now. Right now. The consequences of socialism is ravaging the globe. You can look at Europe. It's completely dismantling itself from the inside out. Big government socialism. You can look at Venezuela. You can look at Cuba. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Socialism is arsenic. But we're clueless, despite the fact that we all have smartphones in our hands. It's amazing. I don't know what to tell you. People don't want to think. They want to feel. People don't care about facts. They want to feel. Their reality is whatever they make it. I mean, what a country should be doing is, after 8 years of debacle, we should be looking inward and saying this isn't working. But instead of doing that, because the Democrat Party is untouchable, we just contort our reality. It's some rich guy, or it's some bank, or it's whatever. You know, all these people have culpability, but nobody's into solutions here. More Orwell. I mean, can you believe this? I've read Animal Farm, and I've read Brave New World, and I've read 1984. They used to make you read that in schools. I'd be shocked if they still did. This is like literally out of the pages of those things. That's not me making like some weird correlation. No, it's actually out of the pages of that. Quote unquote, according to the new administration, and they're just like passing these edicts. They're just declaring things among the masses. Criminals are now to be referred to as, get this is unbelievable, quote unquote, justice involved individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, that is literally Orwell. Literally. New York Post has that. Hillary Clinton comes out with more policy, if you will. Really, it's just putting the word free. I mean, I'm not making this up. It's literally just putting the word free in front of stuff. That constitutes policy on the left today. Bernie, by the way, last night wins easily in Oregon. Kentucky too close to call. The momentum is clearly, 100% in Bernie's corner. And yet Hillary Clinton is still just declared by, pretty much every single pontificator on TV as the winner. Amazing to me. By the way, can you imagine the outrage from the media, the left, Wasserman Schultz, all that stuff? Can you even imagine what that would look like if the Trump supporters acted like the Bernie supporters, throwing chairs, making death threats? Do you remember just a little while ago, you had leftists. This is how this went down. You had leftists. By the way, we know this, right? They admitted this online. Leftists paid people to go to Trump rallies, destroyed the place, got in fights, created a ruckus, if you will. Then that was on Trump. This isn't the case here. These are actually Bernie supporters. There's no Trump supporters. There's no paid anything. They're just throwing chairs, death threats. Bernie Sanders all throughout the internet has video. And by the way, here's the thing. Things are so screwed up, and some of these people that are protesting are right. I want you to hear me say this. The Democrat Party is hosing these people. They are depriving them of their right to vote. They are depriving them of their right to be recognized in a democracy. That's all true. I'm not even saying that civil unrest, even in this form, is even uncalled for, because I'm not of that camp. I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Look, the administration's lawless. The government's lawless. What do you expect the people to do? They're going to increasingly be lawless. But my point is, look at the media's coverage of this. So the ones all Poe, the ones all veneer, the ones all like kabuki theater, this is real, and it's like, oh, this is unfortunate, but it's not indicative of the Democratic Party. Of course, it's not indicative of anybody on the left. Just amazing double standard. Every day I live in this. Administration continues to dictate business in America. Now they just declare about overtime. Here's the thing that I don't understand why they don't understand this. Money doesn't grow on trees. You can't just hand out money. So what's going to happen? People will lose jobs. People will lose actual overtime. Less people will work. All this is a shell game. Barack Obama gets to go out there and say, oh, everybody gets a raise. What actually happens in real businesses where they're not playing with monopoly money, government money, is now this business owner has to look at his employees, fire people, move money around, because he doesn't instantly hocus pocus have more money, right? It is just because Obama, we'll have a raise. No, all right, just make this be. I mean, this is economics to the left, and of course, people will be harmed, families will be harmed, people will be crushed. But Obama gets to feel good, and people swallow this like Hook, line, and sinker. It's just amazing, but it's true. Obama just dictating things, just speaking things. Oceans descend. Climate heal. I mean, I'm beginning to think the guy believes he has such powers. For the New York Times, the biggest issue in the country continues to be whether a man can squat pee next to a little girl. I find it revolting, crazy. It is crazy. I don't care how the left moves the needle of insanity. That's just nuts. It never not becomes nuts, right? Just because the left goes off the crazy cliff, just because the left social engineers this nation into imbecility, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden it's not weird, crazy, harmful, dangerous, etc. You just fill in the common sense statement. That now, me, that doesn't think Charles, 57-year-old Charles, who needs to sit down with a shrink, who wants to go in. Now and I'm going to play the audio. I'm going to bring you the media. We have women getting choked to death in bathrooms. And this will continue. Obviously, it will continue. There will be sex assaults in bathrooms. I mean, it's just obviously this is going to be a problem. And this is going to spill all over into other areas they haven't thought about, like female sports. If you decide you're a male, you get to shower with the female volleyball players. Well, of course you do, or else you're intimidated. It's a civil right. It's a civil right to ignore the fact that you have twig and berries and go into the female bathroom. It's absurd. It will continue to be absurd. I don't care what MSNBC says. I don't care what Rachel Maddow. I mean, you have to understand, Americans, think. It doesn't. If the right people with the right microphones just start talking gibberish, like, for example, there's a little child character named Barney. If they just start saying Barney's not a child character, Barney's a space alien, that doesn't mean Barney instantly becomes a space alien because complete idiocy starts rattling it off. That's how we deal with social engineering in this country, right? The administration finds that the economic numbers are plunging or whatever tomfoolery is happening. We need to distract. So all of a sudden the issue is that grown men that want to put on panties need to go in the female bathrooms. That doesn't mean that becomes less crazy, right? And that doesn't mean a person's a bigot because they say it's crazy or think it's crazy. The alternative realities that the left just kind of construct do not in any way change reality and the consequences of reality and the dangers of ignoring reality. You understand what I'm saying to you? And that's the world I'm begging you to live in. Because if you do not, reality will bite you. It has teeth. It lives in the real world. I've seen it. This is absurd, and we need to continue to call it absurd no matter what kind of names leftist, bully social engineers conjure up. Trump says he's going to dismantle dodd-frank. Another point that differentiates him from Hillary Clinton. Dodd-Frank has crushed small banks. One might have to ask themselves if they don't like Wall Street or if they care for the little guy, why would you crush small banks? Small banks is the guy that knows you, knows your dad, might lend you money even though the credit's not right because he knows you. He's got a little skin in the game, right? He knows your family. It's a three-dimensional exchange, just like all small businesses. One might have to ask themselves, why is the left destroying small banks? Let your mind spin out on that a little bit. Hillary claims in a point of desperation, I think, that Bill Clinton's going to run the economy. Pretty desperate, Hillary Clinton. And by the way, Bill Clinton's way too conservative for the left-wing Marxists that now run the Democrat Party. Remember how I told you about the gay cake? Remember this guy got a cake from Whole Foods? He now comes out and fully admits he made the whole thing up publicly. Sadly, Whole Foods is going to drop their counter lawsuit. I think they should drive this guy into the ground. You should not be allowed to lie. By the way, all these social engineering, like, catastrophes, somebody put a slur on my cake, they're all end up faux. They're all fake. They're all fake. There is none of this stuff is not real in this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? The guy came out, he said, I wrote it on my own cake. It's completely fake. But now look at this momentum that the left's created. We're all racists. We're all bigots. We all hate gays. Look at this. We're putting, sexual epithets on cakes. It's not even true. The guy did it himself. What kind of sick mind does that? Can we read into that thinking? A new wave of suicide bombs in Baghdad. Barack Obama's Baghdad. This time a crowded market of people, always a good place to murder people if you're the religion of peace. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't take any more of this bleakness, if you're in the market for a great camera, I'm going to recommend for you the Sony RX D-III. Look into it. Amazing. KenRockwell.com has a great review of this camera. I know you all are buying the digital camera. It's changing the face of the world. If you want to interact with the world, by the way, if you want to start talking to the world, there's a lot of ways to do that. I strongly suggest you do. I strongly suggest you lift your voice. I strongly suggest you pull back, analyze things, and then speak into it. Your media is certainly not doing that. Watchdog it, ladies and gentlemen. You are the new media. You are the change. You are the resistance. Thank you for listening to the Brock Lawley program. Be a people of fortitude, character, and courage.
Typical white person.
À Brock Lawley Productions.